very young, I've always wanted to be an artist. I lived in London for about 3 years and traveled Europe. There was never a doubt in my mind that I was going to come back. So I've always been very fond of small towns, very fond of small places. I live in a very small town called Baardskeerdersbos, which I won't explain the meaning of. We've probably about 80 people that live in this town. A sure sign of the size was the second day after we moved here. There was a knock on the door and a little boy came and told me there's telephone for me. And I didn't understand, and he explained that there was telephone for me at the phone booth, at the shop. And sure enough, I ran there and the person was still on the other side of the line. With my passion for art, I've always had a passion for gardening, so it was important for me to not be locked in the system. So I had to find some way of dealing with the world, but be separate from it. It's fantastic to be able to just walk into your garden. Oh, it's much better than shopping, much better than being in the supermarket. The freshness of the vegetables is incredible. These carrots are out the ground 5 minutes. You can actually hear them. I mean, that's incredible. I think the reason I actually started with vegetables is to teach my son. So it's fantastic to send him out there into the garden, and he knows that's where it comes from. He doesn't think it comes from the shop, you know. When Fred was young, I could get him to eat carrots from the garden, but I couldn't get him to eat carrots from the shop. So it definitely made it even more worthwhile growing things. You know, life is about so many other things. The time spent here is meditation. This feeling and this pleasure is not something you can buy. The whole relationship we should have with nature and not have our feet in shoes and on cement all the time. And get your fingers stuck into the soil and actually, get earthed. We do a lot of preserving from the garden as well for the winter season when there isn't anything in the garden.
La 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 la, love is love. La 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 la, love is.
This is last summer's onions. We still have quite a few strands and we've got some extra, so I'm going to make some onion marmalade. It all tends to come at once, so you have to preserve it some kind. And then when you go and visit friends, you go for a meal, how wonderful is it to take something really special with something you made and something that they can't buy in a shop. Most of this is from last year. We've got quite a bit. The tomatoes are fantastic. It's a canning process. You boil them in the pot and they say it lasts indefinitely. I mean, I wouldn't eat it after 10 years, I'm sure, but...
Let's talk about me. Let's talk about love.
A lot of things I've learned through experience, but there is a lot of books out there. Or the internet. Everything's on the internet.
Does the moon not know it needs the sun to shine illuminating all.
I think for a lot of people, they think it's really hard to grow anything, and it really isn't. I believe everyone can. When I was in London, I grew all my salad and all my small vegetables like tomatoes in pots on a balcony the size of a door. I just have this passion. I can't stop myself. I wish that it was a green infection that would take everyone by surprise and not let them go. Getting a few seeds, getting a cutting from someone, sticking it in the ground and using your wastewater even to grow it. It's just that little bit of consciousness. That's all that's needed.
In an August morning sky, does the sun not know?
I think there is no other option. It's the only direction to go into for people to live more off the grid and grow their own food. It's going to happen naturally. I'm not even worried.
Does the wind?
And I really believe that there is a revolution coming. The young people are going to grab hold of it. It's going to be the new cool.
It's only time is on my mind. I'm glad you're by my side, watching sun and moon collide in an August morning sky. I hope that
We all need to find that thing in us that makes us smile. My art, my family, my plants. Every day there's so much that makes me smile.
August morning sky.